Hello, everybody. Do you like bonus things? Do you like extra stuff?
Do you like stuff for free and then more stuff for free?
Well, guess what? Today's your lucky day, you sons of bitches.
Episode 251.
Boom.
Still free.
Bonus episode. We're going to just we're just going to recap the Golden Globes.
Yeah, just the film part.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to acknowledge TV. All right. Well, so, first of all, we've never really done a special episode for the Golden Globes. We've done the Oscars, but we've never done one for the Golden Globes.
No, we haven't. Normally we roll it into another episode. But
Yeah.
I think it bears talking about because a number of things, happened at the Golden Globes. First of all, Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, they do a great job.
God,
hosting.
they're funny.
They're really funny, and they do a great job. They really had that Steve Martin, Alec Baldwin vibe where their comedy was like biting and funny, but it was never quite too over the edge or mean. It was like it hit that line that Hollywood loves. You can make fun of us, just not too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep it silly.
Yeah,
Keep it.
yeah.
So, and it was, you can tell that.
But in that framework, they did an amazing job.
They were great.
It was really funny.
But you also know that they, especially, with Tina Fey, it's their team. It's their staff of people.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're not like newbies that are trying to be funny with a bunch of dumb writers that don't get them or don't understand.
Never met them before.
Never met them or don't understand their voice, and they're just making them do sort of generic awards jokes. They're doing that's their stuff. That's their sensibilities.
Yes.
And Tina Fey is just 30 Rock is one of the funniest shows out there, and she's just a really good writer and assembles teams of very good writers.
Yes.
And the jokes they made about Bill Cosby, relentless. They did not take their boot off his neck at all. Mm-mm. And I'm all for innocent until proven guilty. It just it's like the Catholic Church. There's 1, okay, 2, okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like
it keeps going.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's you're done. And they just went after him. And then the George Clooney wife joke.
That was really funny. That was really funny.
It's funny because it does make a point that,
Yes, that's ridiculous. What we're all sitting here for.
Yeah, what we're all ridiculous for. But then also, George Clooney has used his celebrity status to be a humanitarian.
Yes.
And that's one of the things they focused on in his award, which is great.
That's what, it really makes you, it makes you happy to see that, really. It's like, here's a guy who's got, it's a lot of privilege, a lot of money, and he's got cameras following him everywhere, really. So do some good with that. And he does. He does. So, I mean, Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt do the same thing. It's really nice
when
to
they were
see.
married.
When they were, of course. That's what I meant. When they were married. When they would take those trips and they said that the cameras will follow us, let's show them something that people need to see.
And then he married Angelina Jolie, and they did that even more.
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston, a little more of a party girl, has got some guy, married to some music guy. But yeah, you make a good point.
In a very roundabout way.
I forget things kind of a way. It's wonderful.
Are you saying Jennifer Aniston never did anything good with her celebrity status?
Nope. No, I'm sure she's done fine things.
Now you're going to make me Google. I want to find one picture of Jennifer Aniston in a soup kitchen or something. Now,
soup kitchen,
something doing giving back somewhere.
I'm sure she has done some of that stuff. Maybe she gives back privately, doesn't want to make a big thing out of it. Yes. But Brad and Angelina and George Clooney they've done a lot.
They've done a lot,
and they have that attitude of, well, the cameras are following me everywhere.
Right.
Might as well get them to follow me, to some place that needs help.
Yeah, and the images that come back are often very terrifying. Really,
well, there was that
disturbing
picture that was George Clooney in standing over a dead body.
Yeah.
And just contemplating what that is and what that environment was. And it's one of those things when you see those, it's the photos of that stuff, they're powerful. But when you're there and you see it, it does change you. And it's cool that they are recognizing that aspect of George Clooney. And also, I got to say, he talks about finally being in love at age 53. And I was just like, I mean, part of me was like, he's always sort of been my hero. He's never gotten married, and he's never, he's just.
Well, Graham, maybe it won't last. Yeah, maybe
I think whatever. It feels like I don't know this guy. I only know his public persona, but it just was like. And the joke I wanted to make.
I don't know if that's a Hollywood 53 too.
No, it's you can't hide that anymore with the internet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Your birth certificate, it's on there. He's 53.
Right.
You know what I mean. Because if the internet didn't exist, he'd be telling everybody he was 47.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Like how Jenny McCarthy stayed 24 for 10 years.
Yeah, sure. I've been in my early to mid 30s for quite some time.
Yeah. That would have made her in Playboy at 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then, and also if you think about it, if George Clooney, this is who he is, and he is a guy that wants to help the world out, and yeah, he's also been a Hollywood privileged playboy and everything like that. It stands to reason that it would take some woman that was like amazing for him to settle down. This woman that does all this humanitarian stuff and is highly educated, because he's dated 1 million.
And she's a sorceress.
She's a sorceress. She has a magic wand.
Yeah.
Because, he can date every beautiful woman he wants. He's dated 1 million models or whatever, but that's got to run thin. What
you would think.
What are you going to talk to them about?
Yeah.
You come back from,
it
some
took
war.
53 years for it to run thin.
And that's why I say, God bless George Clooney. God bless that man. And when he does settle down, it's the most beautiful and the most intelligent humanitarian woman on the planet, or one of. Like, to get that whole combo.
Well, most likely what happened was she was in a palace and just said, "Bring me George Clooney."
Let's hope she summoned him and he said, "Yes, my lord." And he had to marry her. Yeah. Otherwise, she'd turn him into a frog or a 3-headed wolf or something like that.
And that is the story we're sticking to.
That's facts. That's verifiable. Google it. But
that's like Jennifer Aniston never helping anyone. That's
She never has, buddy. Look it up. That's why Brad left her. She never helped anybody. But the other thing, Ricky Gervais.
Oh my God, my favorite
shit.
speech of the show, because it was unexpected and it was clearly a slam on everything and everyone. But the difference is when he hosted, it came off a little off, like mean-spirited and not as funny. But
I love the time he hosted and he talked about how film people are better looking than TV people. That was
great. That was great.
Hilarious. And people got offended, of course.
Yeah. But I thought this was so spot on and so hilarious. And like, I wanted him to go on for another 40 minutes.
Oh, God damn it.
Like, I can't even look at you, Katie Holmes, all the horrible things you've all done in this just to get here.
He goes Streep, and then he said, I think he said Streep, and maybe he said Clooney.
Yeah.
Haha, that's funny. Meryl Streep, everybody loves her. But Katie Holmes, oh no, she did. She signed a deal with the devil to get famous. She never was going to be in those giant films until she had Tom Cruise. That was great. And I want to go back to this.
So she became Tom Cruise's Padawan?
Yeah. I think that was in their prenup. Tom Cruise's Padawan. But I want to go back to when the celebrities get too offended too easily, to Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, when they made the Big Eyes thing about Emma Stone.
Yes.
And Emma Stone's reaction was like, oh, okay. Yeah. You know what, Emma Stone, what you should have done, Emma Stone? If you
open your eyes wide.
Make a giant eyes and go right into the camera. Everyone would have laughed and said, that's hilarious. When celebrities do that shit, I'm like, you fucking crybabies.
Like Steve Carell, the mug he made was hilarious.
That was so funny. I love it when they do that. Going back to when Ricky Gervais hosted and was talking about how TV people were ugly, Tom Hanks was making all these, like he was playing along with the joke because he's got a good sense of humor. I remember when Chris Rock hosted the Oscars and he made some joke about Adrian Brody that was funny, and then Sean Penn goes up there and is like, just a word of note to our host tonight. Adrian Brody is one of our finest actors. Oh, shut the fuck up. Take yourself a little more seriously, Sean Penn.
Do you think Sean Penn doesn't have a sense of humor? That's weird.
I know. He seems like such a loosey-goosey guy.
Yeah.
Like, when that kind of shit, I'm just like, lighten the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because, and here's
Have you ever seen Adrian Brody's profile? He looks like he's wearing a plague mask.
Yeah, and Chris Rock has been made fun of relentlessly.
Yeah.
He's not a matinee idol, and he knows it.
No, it's these are just jokes. I mean, they don't mean anything. Yes, Adrian Brody is an amazing actor,
right?
And he's fantastic. But
and if I remember correctly, the joke was something about how Adrian Brody is in everything,
right?
Which is like, how is that an insult,
right?
and the other thing, and this I want to go to this. After Clooney, first of all, Clooney's speech, the thing he said, where is this? I want to look on this piece of paper. So after Clooney got his Ruth Wilson in The Affair. Okay, so Clooney was given his award right before Ruth Wilson, right? And Clooney made a great point. And he talks about, you come here and you're a nominee and there's all this excitement, and when you lose, you're a loser. And he goes, anyway, if you're in this room, you've done it.
Yeah,
you've
won.
You've won. And then that Ruth Wilson chick goes up there and basically complains because she didn't win in the past. You know what I mean? She was kind of whining.
I forgot about that.
Oh man, she was whining, and there was posts on Twitter.
What did she win on about?
She won Best Performance by an Actress in a Television Series Drama. She won for The Affair.
Oh, well, here's the thing about the Golden Globes and television. Europeans and the rest of the world are watching the shows that the Americans aren't watching. So It doesn't matter. All these other, I'm like, I've never heard of that show.
Yeah, of course. But the point is, though, she missed
missed the whole point of
everything
the
that Clooney said of like, hey, man, it's awesome here.
Right.
And everyone should have that attitude. Like, I'm watching TJ Miller. He got he's there for Big Hero 6, and it's like, that's so cool he got to be there. Like,
was he there, or was he there for Silicon Valley?
Maybe
he's probably there for
either one. But I thought it was just like the Clooney thing was so great, and
he was there for both.
So
good for him.
I really think that anyway. That bums me out when celebrities don't get it, and so many times they just get too uptight and don't get it. But Amy Poehler and Tina Fey pulled it off, and Ricky Gervais clearly does not care.
No, and that's what makes him
great.
So sincere. Just the way he uses a word like overprivileged.
Yeah,
It's like, well, I probably better not say anything, and then he goes into this biting, hilarious speech. God, like I said, I wanted him to go on for another 40 minutes
because that's the thing, and this is why you like Meryl Streep. But she's always just looks like she's having a blast.
Yeah.
And when you hear celebrities complain, you're like, about what?
Yeah, George Clooney had a good time. You could make fun of him.
Sure.
Most the celebrities you could tell that don't take themselves too seriously, and also the celebrities that are out of their minds.
Right.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh yeah, he's out of his mind.
Yeah,
he's shit nuts. He's shit nuts. I remember when he was going on tour with his band, he flipped out because an interviewer asked him about his acting career, and he's like, "Weren't you prepped not to ask me about that?" Hey, dipshit! The only one anyone cares about your fucking band is because you've been a movie star.
Yes.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah.
So let's go through some of the winners.
Do the Sling Blade voice.
Say French fries, potatoes. Yeah. Say it. Say it not right now.
Then I'll interview you about your original songs.
Yeah, no one cares about your fucking songs. Good God. All right, so let's go into Best Motion Picture Drama. The nominees were Theory of Everything, Selma, Imitation Game, Foxcatcher, and Boyhood. Boyhood won it. This is these are all very good movies, and for Boyhood to win,
I'm happy it won.
I'm happy it won too, because it's so innovative and so different.
What I loved was that when they were talking about when they got an award, saying that, like, when they went up to the investor and they said, how do you pull off a pitch like that? We want to make this movie and you won't see a profit for a minimum of 14 years.
Yeah, I know.
Literally, you will not see a penny for 14 years minimum. And that's just the whole story of this film getting made and the actual film itself and what he did with it. I thought it was fantastic. It was an achievement in filmmaking. I loved this film. It was such an achievement in filmmaking, and as we talked about when we actually reviewed it on the show, it really captures what a boy's life is like. Yeah. I mean, there's some similarities to my growing up. Completely relatable. And And as a parent, too.
As a parent?
Yeah, it was
I mean,
amazing.
I had divorced parents. I had to split time with parents and, all that stuff. And my parents dating people and how weird that was. And then all while you're, being 12 and 13 and going through puberty and everything's confusing at school. And then you got to move and all this. I mean, they captured it. And they talked a lot about Richard Linklater and all that stuff, which is great. I wish a little more time would have been given to the actual kid that pulled this off. That the actor that was like, hey, you're going to act when you're 8 and 12 and 16 or whatever. Because that was an amazing feat that he did.
Yep.
Because honestly, like Ethan Hawke.
He was there.
Yeah, he was there on stage. Ethan Hawke and I'm blanking on her name, who played his
Patricia
mom.
Arquette.
Patricia Arquette. They're great actors and they did a good job, but it's not.
And they help people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not selfish Jennifer Anistons. Just go around and buy stuff and throw it at rich people and then,
they go around and buy stuff and throw it at rich people. I don't even need this. Why are you throwing it at me?
Yeah. We're all rich.
Yeah.
And then they take half-eaten sandwiches and throw them in the garbage in front of poor people. That's what she does. But no, this I don't know what this kid accomplished to act at different points of his life. I thought was an amazing feat. So, and then all right, best motion picture comedy musical. It was Birdman, Grand Budapest Hotel, Into the Woods, Pride, and St. Vincent, and Grand Budapest Hotel won. Which
another film I really loved.
I loved it, and they've been running it a lot on HBO. So I've been watching it more, and
I saw it on a plane. I actually want to see it again, kind of interrupted at home.
You want it interrupted?
I mean, uninterrupted at home.
I like watching a movie where my kids are yelling at me. And
that's how I can really enjoy it.
Like the solitude of watching something. You want it interrupted by Jennifer Aniston just
throwing a half-eaten sandwich at me. Yeah.
Did you get a lot of sleep last night? How'd you do?
Not as much as I'd like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking in.
Yeah.
I'm glad Grand Budapest won. It was really cool. And then
here was my surprise on that category, though. Into the Woods was a movie casting wise and just pretty much set up for like the foreign press to absolutely love because it had such an international. You've got like Tracy Ullman, you've got of course Meryl Streep, and then all these actors like even Johnny Depp that are huge overseas. You're thinking, oh my gosh, how could this not lose? How could this not win for best comedy or musical? But I'm glad Grand Budapest Hotel won, and it's the kind of movie too that it demands a second screening. Like I want to see it again. I want to see kind of all the nuances that I missed the first time.
The thing that's good about these big award shows is when they bring to light a film that you didn't know much about. Like for me, the movie was Pride, and when they showed the trailer of it, when they were when they were showing all the nominees.
Yeah, I kind of want to see it now.
I really want to see it now. I heard something about it, but didn't see that much. So it's really cool that they do that on such a big stage because now and I'm sure millions of other people are going to go download this movie or whatever.
Right.
And St. Vincent, I really liked, but I'm glad Grand Budapest Hotel won.
Yes.
Now, best performance by an actor in a drama. I think this is important because I think this is going to be. This is one of those categories that is a little bit of a precursor to the Oscars.
The Oscars,
for nominations for real. Steve Carell, Foxcatcher, Benedict Cumberbatch for Imitation Game, Jake Gyllenhaal, Nightcrawler, David Oyelowo for Selma, and Eddie Redmayne for Theory of Anything. I think you're going to see these exact 5 names for the Oscars. Is my pick, my guess.
Let's we should have an Oscar pool on how you pronounce David Oyelowo's. Oyelowo?
I think maybe it's just Oyelowo.
All right. Let's see who wins the pool. Eddie Redmayne obviously did, like you were saying, an amazing job. This is going to be a very strong category.
Because here's the thing is, when I look at this field, and it's a very strong field, it's hard to not, I don't know, I still think everyone does an amazing job. I still think Steve Carell, what he did in Foxcatcher, and maybe that's because I've seen so much of him in The Office over the years and watched so many of his comedies, that this was such a departure. And it was so impressive.
And he pulled it off.
He really pulled it off. It was believable. At the very least, they ought to win for best makeup.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm not sure why Steve Carell's not getting as much traction, but maybe because Foxcatcher came out.
It was still kind of a limited release.
Yeah.
It didn't really go wide like some.
And
of
it
these
came out
other
in like
movies
late October, early
Yeah.
November. I don't know, but
It was hard
it's a
to
solid.
find in
This
LA.
is what. Pardon?
It was hard to find in L.A.
It was hard to find in L.A. Here's one of those things, though. This is one of those fields where any one of these guys wins it, you're going to go, okay.
Yeah.
Like no one on this list, if they win it, would you go, oh man,
no, I can't believe it.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah,
good.
Keanu Reeves.
Now going into Best Actress in a drama, this is another good example. I've heard very little about Cake, but I'm glad it got nominated because it does want me to see, vapid Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, well, let him eat cake. That's what she says in the movie. Yeah, because she doesn't care. Yeah.
Probably does more charity than any of these people have ever done.
So Jennifer Aniston in Cake, although Felicity Jones, The Theory of Everything. Now Julianne Moore, still Alice. This one I really want to see too. And then obviously she won the award. But Julianne Moore is a great actress, and like I said, I saw the trailer. She looks amazing in it. Supporting cast, not as much.
Right.
When you've got Kristen Stewart being expressionless through the whole thing. Like your mom's got Alzheimer's. Try to, I don't know, react.
Have an emotion.
Yeah.
Your boyfriend's a werewolf.
Yeah.
This is another strong category. You got Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl and Reese Witherspoon for Wild. It's another one where but it's bringing to like Still Alice and Cake I haven't heard as much about.
No.
And I want to see them now.
Still Alice in L.A., I think it's literally just coming out.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't know if it's on demand, but I think it's go. And even just coming out, it's limited release.
Right. So then, Best Actress in a Comedy Musical, you've got Amy Adams for Big Eyes, which is Big Eyes a comedy? Like, this is where the Golden Globes every year I'm always like, wait, what?
Well, what happens is too, I think the studios and producers they category shift a little bit. Like they figure out which one they have a better chance of winning in. And they'll either pull a submission or move a submission somewhere else. So it's not just the Golden Globes.
Oh, okay.
It's the actual studios
okay.
kind of doing a little shifting around.
Jockeying for position.
Yes, exactly
that makes sense.
Right.
That makes sense.
So it is funny. It's a comedy drama. I mean, it's both. It has some funny parts. But honestly, if I had to categorize it as one or the other, I'd put it more in the drama side.
The trailer makes it look more like a drama.
Yeah, it's definitely more drama. It's got some, like I said, funny, lighter moments, but generally it's a drama. And it's a great movie, and she did really well. Amy Adams really... The thing about Amy Adams is, if you watch like kind of her entire career, no matter what she's doing, whether it's Enchanted or a movie like this, or even a small movie called like Sunshine Cleaning, she never phones it in.
Right.
You see whether, she's being like, a goofy cartoon character, which basically she was in Enchanted, or, a put-upon sister in Sunshine Cleaning, or even here, where she's, basically an artist whose husband took full advantage of her.
Right.
And she's able to nuance every performance, and I really like her. I think she did a great job in this film.
Well, now going to the next category, Best Performance by an Actor in a Comedy or Musical, Michael Keaton wins for Birdman, which is, I guess there's some comedic moments in that, but it's kind of an intense
Also,
film.
I would think it looked more like a drama to me, and I haven't seen it yet.
I've seen it. I would call it a drama, but I wouldn't be surprised if they maneuvered it in that category to get there, and it worked because
it did.
He wins and he gives a good performance, and I knew he was going to give a crazy speech.
Why wouldn't he?
I mean, when he was introduced, I thought, here comes this year's Matt McConaughey.
Right.
But
that's what a Jackie Cation say. That's a pile of haircuts.
Yeah, it's a pile of haircuts. All right. And then Best Performance in a Supporting Role, Patricia Arquette wins for Boyhood. And again, she's going up against Jessica Chastain, Keira Knightley, Emma Stone, and Meryl Streep, which is a pretty solid...
Yes. Now, this is one of the times where, with Meryl Streep, her character of Into the Woods, she plays a witch.
Right.
You're not going to get this groundbreaking performance on... she plays a witch in the woods who talks. So...
Yeah.
But yeah, she did an amazing job. There's some scenes in there with Patricia Arquette that they're so moving. And that's the other thing too, is you see as this movie progresses, you see the actors, the adult actors age too.
Well, you also see them. The thing that I liked about Patricia Arquette in this film is she is real. She doesn't love her son. She is trying to do the best she can as a single mom and makes mistakes. And and her and Ethan Hawke make a lot of mistakes.
Right.
But she's trying the best she can, and you see that sort of human part of her in when she realizes her mistakes, or she's dating another dumb alcoholic or whatever.
Right.
And she just Patricia Arquette always sort of has this kind of sadness and strength to a lot of her characters, which I find very engaging.
Yes.
And then when we go into Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role, I don't know why Robert Duvall is nominated for The Judge. I don't know why The Judge is nominated for anything.
Yeah.
Like Ethan Hawke, Edward Norton, Mark Ruffalo, and J.K. Simmons, and then Robert Duvall. I feel like that's just, it's Robert Duvall.
Exactly. So. No one's seen the movie. Just we got to nominate Robert Duvall.
Yeah, I mean, he's good in it, I guess, but the movie is horrible.
Yeah.
And then J.K. Simmons wins, which was just great because he's one of those character guys that's been bouncing around for forever. I mean, obviously, in the I'm blanking on the name, the prison TV series on HBO, Oz, he was great in that, but. In cinema, he's been great in Spider-Man and all those things, but he's never been like, this big of. I mean, this is a big co-starring role.
Yeah,
and that was really cool. And then Richard Linklater wins for Best Director Motion Picture. So the thing I'm curious about, and again, when you get to Best Director, you've got Wes Anderson, Ava DuVernay for Selma, David Fincher for Gone Girl, Alejandro for Birdman, and Linklater for Boyhood. That's a solid category.
Yes, it definitely is. And these are all really good directors. And it's also, the interesting thing about it, if you look at it, it's all different resumes too. Like some people have a lot more experience than others on this list, but it doesn't matter. They're all solid films, and they were all solidly directed.
Yeah, and I guess you give it to Linklater because they all did amazing things in terms of what obstacles as directors they had to deal with. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to, but I guess with Linklater is the most challenging because he had this 12-year shoot,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, everyone on that list. I mean, the single continuous shot in Birdman, and what Fincher was doing and what DuVernay had to deal with in Selma in terms of the recreation and this iconic character.
Yeah, you've got a period piece.
You've got a period piece, which is always challenging, and then Grand Budapest Hotel.
What technically was a period piece, but like kind of a fantasy period piece.
I know, and that's a great category, and so I don't know. I wonder, because here's the thing. Interstellar is nowhere on this.
No, it isn't. Mm-mm.
And I don't see Interstellar getting shut out by the Oscars.
No, not at all.
There's no way. So it's going to muscle out somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
And I wonder who.
Now, the other thing is when we get to screenplay is the Golden Globes do not differentiate between adapted screenplay and original screenplay.
Right.
They put them all in the same category. Mm-hmm. So I think there's actually going to be some room opened up for screenplays.
Sure.
And I think that's where you're going to definitely see Interstellar for original screenplay. Grand Budapest Hotel, these are all, really good screenplays. Gone Girl, and all right. But Boyhood, and then, and Birdman. Birdman actually won for screenplay.
Which is I'm glad that movie's getting recognition because it's good, but it's kind of like what we talked about, even with what Brody Stevens said about that film, was kind of how I felt too, in terms of like good, but not. I'm glad it's getting recognition because it is innovative.
Right.
And it is cool to see Michael Keaton doing this kind of work. And I do like this director because he's really very, he tries different things. Yes. And I think that's cool. Now, so I'm glad it is getting.
Okay. Now, Best Animated Feature. I actually was disappointed at this category. I didn't I didn't think How to Train Your Dragon 2 at all was the best choice on this list.
I would have gone either Lego Movie or Big Hero 6.
Definitely Lego Movie or Big Hero 6. Now, the other ones definitely had some charms.
The Book of Life
was beautiful to look at. Story-wise, it was okay. Now, The Box Trolls was the only stop-motion animated film. So, technologically, it was very different than the others. But I think I would have gone Lego Movie, and the reason is because it was the only movie on this list that truly, truly surprised me. That kind of how is this going to be good? That kind of innovation, the style, even the live action component at the end, and I really thought that what they did with it, especially something like this is a toy. What are we going to do with it, basically?
Right.
And I thought it was really innovative and great, but I thought How to Train Your Dragon 2 I didn't like as much, and I loved the first one. So I would go with you. I would go Big Hero 6 or the Lego Movie, but definitely the Lego Movie I would have picked as a winner. Now, Best Foreign Language Film, I'm a little surprised. Dead Snow 2 was not on this, But, all right, whatever.
Yeah, Force Majeure, I've heard many good things about. That's out of Sweden. It was nominated. I want to check it out. Leviathan from Russia was the winner.
Right.
The rest of them, I just don't know that much about. Ida from Poland, although Ida from Poland was talked about on our message boards, and it does. I am curious to see that. So, best original song. Now let's talk about this. The nominees were Big Eyes, Glory from Selma, Mercy Is from Noah, Opportunity from Annie, and Yellow Flicker Beat from Hunger Games. And Glory winning for Selma. The speech that Common gave
was fantastic.
It was fantastic, and it really summed up, Hey,
here's the other thing too. If you're about to win an award, and even if you're just nominated, write a speech.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly.
You actually have an opportunity for people to listen to you. You can thank everyone. That's great, and you should. But also, you have an opportunity to make a really compelling speech, the way Common did as well.
And those are the speeches that stick out.
Yeah.
And I think, because the list of thanking someone on a motion picture is endless.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It is endless. And you don't want to leave someone out or make somebody feel bummed or whatever. But
and just by the nature of it, you're always going to, because so many people are involved.
So on so many levels, you're going to leave someone out.
Yeah,
so it's
either one of your reps or
somebody helped out along the way, and you're going to forget them. So, and especially, as we talked about in episode 250, the timing of Selma, what's going on in this country right now, and the way Common put it. And including everybody, the two cops that got gunned down in New York, the guy that got choked to death in Staten Island, Mike in Ferguson, like Michael Brown, and including all that stuff. And it's what we talked about in the movie of why the movie's timing is very good. We need this, and looking at what Dr. King did in terms of nonviolence and right. Fighting back, and we're going to get even just doesn't work. And it just violence begets more violence. So it was really cool that Common did that.
And now I know we're not really going to talk about the television, but I will say the television section had the most surprising line of the night when somebody actually said, "I'd like to thank Jeff Bezos from Amazon." And that was it's a little more important than you think, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because in that time, at that very moment, basically networks are becoming irrelevant. Because content can be anywhere, content can be created anywhere, it can be accessed anywhere, and Amazon can create just as compelling content as networks.
Right, because I think was it Transparent that's on? Because
here's the thing. Artists, writers, actors, directors, producers, they'll work for anyone.
Yeah.
There's no, I only work for NBC or ABC. I can't work for Hulu or Amazon. No, that's all right.
Let's look at this category. Best television series, musical or comedy. Girls, Jane the Virgin, Orange is the New Black, Silicon Valley, and Transparent. I mean... Transparent and Orange is the New Black. Orange is the New Black is Netflix. Transparent is is, as we just said, Amazon. And Silicon Valley, wait a minute.
HBO.
Yeah, Silicon Valley's HBO.
And I don't know how a CW show got on there.
Girls is HBO.
Girls is HBO. Jane the Virgin is CW.
I mean, best television series drama, you've got The Good Wife is the only network show. House of Cards is Netflix. Game of Thrones and HBO. Downton Abbey is PBS. And The Affair. Wait, where is The Affair on?
Exactly. You kind of made the point. That's
yeah, The Affair is one of those.
I think it's. I
think it is.
Amazon. No. It's not Amazon. The Affair.
Oh, it's Showtime.
I think it's
Showtime. But this is interesting that what's happening and what is being considered television. But also, I was talking to somebody that works, in one of the major networks, and you've got big shows like.
I'm going to make a prediction right now. The word television will eventually be dropped out of these categories.
And will just be like...
Series,
yeah. I think you're right. Because what's happening, though, like... But even these big series like NCIS or they make big deals with companies like Netflix and Hulu because they've got 8 years of content, and they pay off these $50, $60 million deals.
Right.
So are the networks – I don't think the networks are going to go away, but they're going to have to really sort of reevaluate what they're doing because it's really the sponsors that are –
in a way, you could look at it as now they're now competing with their syndicators. Because what would happen is Netflix would just take the shows when they were basically on their next runs, but now – well, no, we'll take your shows, but you're also competing against our original series now. And same with Amazon.
And the sponsor format of, okay, we're paying for, network TV ads.
Right.
And everybody's got a DVR, and everybody binge watches now. And who is watching a TV commercial? Unless the only place where the TV commercial is still effective is live sports.
Live sports.
Or award shows.
Right.
Where you're watching in real time, you're not fast forwarding. So I'm just curious how this is going to, where and how this is going to play out.
Because when you look at it too, the rules have kind of changed so much that you now have, basically if you look at Netflix as a competing network, they have shows that are competing with these other shows. A competing network is buying shows from another competing network because they're buying the NBC and ABC.
Because they're also Netflix is so different. They have a library that they need filled.
Right.
And then you look at the model. Television, a 30-minute sitcom is 22 minutes and 30 seconds.
Right.
And you look at shows like Orange Is the New Black or House of Cards. 1 week it's 52 minutes. 1 week it's an hour 5.
And that's the HBO model, and Showtime is like, well, it's a pay show. We don't have to stick to 60 minutes or 50 or 48 or whatever
48, 30 or whatever.
Yeah, no, we'll just, when the episode's over, generally they don't go over an hour. I think still that seems to be like the cutoff. You always see it's always under 60 somewhere. Right.
I think that's maybe just from their programming grid.
Right.
But still, 52 minutes, 55 minutes. And television and network television, that's... You can't do that.
44 minutes. That's it.
You can't. I mean, when we know as comics, when you do stand up on TV, it's like 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Right. And if you go long, we're going to edit it.
We will cut you out. So I think that was really interesting to see, and just kind of breezing through.
Or we'll edit you for content as well.
Yeah. You're just kind of breezing through television a little bit. If you look at where was it? Jeffrey Tambor goes up against Louis C.K., Don Cheadle, Ricky Gervais, and William H. Macy, and the Amazon show wins, which was amazing. And then Gina Rodriguez winning for Jane the Virgin. That was she's going up against Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
I think it surprised everyone. If you look at if you still have it taped, go back and look at everyone's reaction to that winner, and just at all the other different tables, there's like looks of shock, disbelief.
Who's this?
Yeah.
So that was really cool, man. And then, it's because it's a lot of these TV shows are very, as we've talked about, they're very cinematic. Like House of Cards is a very cinematic show, but. It was over. It was. And Kevin Spacey won for House of Cards, which he's really good in that. But overall, I like this. I like the Golden Globes, and I gotta say, live tweeting is so much fun.
Oh yeah, we'll do more of that. I think.
Yeah, well, we'll do it for the Oscars.
Yeah.
I think I'm working in Vegas but the show started at 5. So I loved it because it's fun to just sit there and write jokes.
Yeah.
And then I watched my Twitter feed and shit was making me, and I was retweeting stuff that was making me laugh out loud. Like I remember when Matthew McConaughey was giving his speech and he had this weird accent. I'm like, what is he doing? And I was trying to think of a joke, like a Southern blah, blah, blah. And then somebody wrote, he's doing a great foghorn leghorn. I fucking laughed out loud. And me and Matt Myra made the same joke at the same time about Jill Soloway looking like she's dressed like Paula Poundstone.
Oh.
And someone told me about that, and then I tweeted that Matt Myra and I each have the same birthday of August 5th. That's why we made that. But anyway, that was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we're going to be doing Oscar preview app.
Yep, we'll
coming
be doing
up,
that soon.
and we'll live tweet the Oscars and all that.
And Neil will write another article too about an Oscar preview. You can read on the site too.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for getting excited about award season. All right, guys. I'm headlining Lake Tahoe January 28th through February 1 at the Improv, which is inside Harvey's Hotel and Casino in South Lake Tahoe. And then I'm headlining the Improv at Harrah's in Las Vegas, and that is February 17th through the 22nd. You want to save 10% on tickets, go to vegas.com and use coupon code CFN.
Boom, bonus.
Boom, bonus plug.
Didn't even pay for that one. That one was free.
It's a little freebie, kids.
Yeah, nice. Look at that.
Little free
Everyone gets free content today. Even the sponsor.
Even the sponsor. Unless their check bounces. So, all right. Anything else, Chris? Anything else we got to...
No, I'll be at the Fantasy Springs Casino this weekend, Friday and Saturday night in Palm Springs. That'll be the Improv inside there. That'll be really fun. It's actually... kicking off kind of like the comedy season at the casino. It'll only run for a couple months and then it'll be done again.
And of course, LA Podfest is confirmed September 18th through the 20th. We just haven't updated the lapodfest.com or the Facebook page yet, but we will. And we will start having ticketing and hotel rooms available in the next month.
Yes, we're working on all of that.
We're working on all that. But
we're stretched a little thin.
But the contract is signed with the hotel. We're good.
And we're working on editing the movie.
Yeah, September 18th through 20. Put it in your book. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. My name is Graham Elwood.
I'm Chris Mancini. And as always, remember...
Han shot first.